This man was stuck upside down inside a cave for 27 hours, and the best rescuers came to save him, and then something happened which shook people's mind. If you are weak-hearted, then don't watch the video further because even the best of people get scared after hearing this story. This is the most unusual and most terrifying death in caving history. This is the story of Nutty Putty Cave. On the 24th of November 2009, a 26-year-old boy named John Edward, who lived in Utah, America, took a leave directly from his job and reached his home in Utah. When he met his family there, all the family members together made a plan that, why don't they celebrate this vacation in a good way? And then they make a plan to explore Nutty Putty Cave, and this plan was going to be the most terrifying decision of their life. So the plan of all the family members is that on the 24th of November, at 8 p.m., we will go to explore the Nutty Putty Cave and return home after a few hours. But what was going to happen there, no one could have imagined, even in dreams. Although John was going to enter this cave for the first time, he had some experience of caving because he used to cave with his younger brother in his childhood. There is a section in the cave which is quite challenging, such as it is called the birth canal, which is very narrow and tight, due to which even experienced cavers are not able to switch their bodies and get out. One's hips and shoulders get stuck there, and no matter how hard he tries, he cannot get out, and a rescue team is needed to get him out. And due to this reason, this cave was closed years ago, and this Nutty Putty Cave was reopened only in March 2009. With some new rules, the rules were that a permit has to be taken from the authorities 21 days before entering the cave, and it was compulsory for every group of cavers to have 2 experienced cavers. John and his 13-year-old younger brother, Joss, were both experienced cavers, so they get the permit to enter, and then all the family members together reach the entrance of the Nutty Putty Cave, whose size was only 30 inches, and they all enter the cave at 8 p.m. on the 24th of November. The whole group enters the cave, then everything goes well for the first 1 hour, and everyone is moving ahead confidently, but then John and Joss and their 2 friends stop at the place of Big Slide and decide among themselves after looking at a map that they will visit the most challenging birth canal of this cave, which is in the deepest section of this cave. It is so tight that only a few feet can enter the cave. Only a few people can cross this cave, and it is believed that there is a long tight passage here, and if you cross it, then at the end there will be another long tight passage, and if you cross that too, then you will find a small room at the end where you will get a chance to turn, and then from there you can turn and come back. However, it is so tight that even experienced cavers start feeling suffocated and panic. John and his younger brother Josh, who was following him, find the birth canal, and both of them enter the birth canal, but the mistake is that the route in which John and Josh entered was not the route of the birth canal at all. John and Josh had actually entered the wrong route, about which they had no idea. John moves 15 feet ahead, and in the meantime, many rocks also come in front of him. Although John was healthy, he could move his body in different orientation. He moves forward by folding his shoulders, waist, and both his legs in the proper direction, and John was now in the route of the corkscrew, and the way John was moving forward, the passage was getting tighter, and by now he could not even turn back because he was too deep in the passage. He actually felt that he was in the birth canal, and he thought that there will be a small room at the end, and he will get a chance to turn, so he goes ahead, and this was the place where things get worse, and by now he had reached the corkscrew area. To cross this corkscrew area, the caver needs to be very small and flexible, and only a few people can cross it with the help of their skills, and from there the caver has to cross a sharp 90-degree bend from the rock left side to the left. By now John had turned from the small area, and after this he reaches the most difficult section. 5 years ago, a 16-year-old boy, Brock Clark, got stuck in this corkscrew section, whose height was only 5 feet 7 inches, and weight was 63 kilograms, and it took 14 hours to rescue him. John was also at the same exact spot while his height was 6 feet and weight was 90 kilograms. Here he had to turn his body and come back. There was no option. Due to so little space, he unwillingly moves forward, squeezing himself towards the ledge area. Although this area was tight, so John thought that this was the tightest place of the birth canal, meaning that there would be a bigger space ahead, and there he would get a chance to turn, and he keeps moving forward with the help of the rock, pressing his stomach. He was moving in the downward direction, meaning exactly below the ground, and John did not know where he had reached. He was hoping that he would find an opening ahead, and then he started falling down at a high speed and caught himself with his hands and shouted loudly and said to his brother, "Joss, don't come here, don't follow me. It was necessary to move forward with the help of your shoulder to get out." And then John saw the glint of a hole from his headlamp, and a hope arose inside John, but this was the biggest and last mistake of John's life. He moved ahead and put his head in the hole, and exactly the tunnel he was going into was unknown, and now he had reached there, and that tunnel was even tighter, and the space was very less, and as he had thought, he would find an opening ahead, but the way ahead was closed. This was the ending of the passage of the entire cave. The space of this place, 18 by 1 inch, as big as a laptop screen. In a complete upside down position means head down and legs up and bent at about a 70-degree angle. He tries to push himself up, but this hole was exhausting. One of his hands was stuck in a useless position and the other hand was bent towards his chest. He tries to push himself up with the help of the wall, but he can't revive it quickly, and his feet were also stuck in the smallest side of the hole, and he screws to Joss again while Joss was behind him on a corkscrew path. But he doesn't cross this area like his brother. Instead, he moves his feet forward and then puts his head back so that he can return easily from the front. He could hear John's voice continue, and finally he reaches the place where he sees that He tries to pull John by holding both his legs with his legs, but John comes up a little and then the grip is lost. And John again goes back to the initial position, and nothing was happening by doing this again and again. And in this situation, both of them get frustrated, and Joss had understood that here they will have to take the help of a professional rescuer. And it is decided between the two that Joss will go out to bring help. And John should try his best to stay relaxed and breathe slowly because there was a lot of lack of oxygen here. Well, Joss comes out of the cave and informs everyone about this, and the rescue team is called. The biggest problem here was that John was in an upside down position, and the rescue doctor believes that due to being in the upside down position, he can survive only for 8 hours, and then after that, all the organs will start failing, and he may get cardiac arrest. For John's rescue, first a female rescuer named Susie goes inside, and she enters with a rope tied to her legs so that she does not get stuck inside. Her height was only 5.3 feet, which makes it very easy for Sushi to cross the corkscrew area. And she meets John at 12:30 at night, and by now John had been stuck there for 9 hours. After seeing this professional help, John thought that he would get out of here immediately, but he was wrong. After seeing this, Susie understood that this situation is worse than it looks.
Susie ties John's legs with a rope and tries to pull him, but the friction in the rope was too much, so she could not pull the rope effectively. Susie tries everything she can, but she gets frustrated in 2 hours and has to leave. All the rescuers make a plan to get John out. It is decided that a pulley system will be installed, and a machine will be used to pull him out, because 5 years ago, when Brock Clark was stuck in the corkscrew area, he was pulled out using the pulley system. It was taking hours to move all the pieces of equipment to the other side of the cork. The tunnel was extremely tight, and only small tools could be taken inside. There could be only one person at a time to assist, and that person had to be short in height and flexible so that he could cross properly. This was not a simple situation, and every police system was taking hours to install, and during this time, Caver was also trying to keep John relaxed by talking to him. It had been 12 hours since John was stuck there, and he spent his whole night in an upside-down position, and a body has its own physical limitation to stay in such a position, and he had crossed that limitation as well. His 90-kilogram body was fighting the pressure of gravity. His blood circulation was getting disturbed, and slowly his breathing was stopping. Due to spending the whole night here, this work was becoming aggressive.
His legs had stopped working. It was very painful for the rescuer and John's family to see John in such a condition, but they were also helpless, and the rescuer was also getting exhausted while doing the drill. The rescuer knew that he could get out of here whenever he wanted, but this was not in John's fate. He was worried and was trying to expand his chest so that he could breathe, and the concentration of oxygen in the air was also decreasing there. And now, after so much time, a wide telecom system is installed near John, and from the other side, John's wife Emily talks to him and tries to encourage John, and John also consoles his wife that I will get out of here soon and everything will be fine. By now it was 4 o'clock in the evening, and 18 hours had passed at John's place. And now the police system had also been installed, and a rescuer named Ryan was ready to move. He enters the cave and reaches John. Ryan says, "How are you, John? It sucks. I'm upside down. I can't believe I'm upside down. My legs are killing me." Mariano was stuck in the narrowest side of the opening. They first fix him, Then they tie his legs with a rope and pull him. But John's legs were hurting a lot. Whenever he pulled, John would tell him to stop because his nerves had become ultra-sensitive. Then, they both stop for some time, and then they try again. And so far it seemed like the pulley system was working. John had now almost climbed up so high that he could see Ryan and make eye contact with him. And then Ryan gives John an energy drink to drink. 19 hours had passed like this. Things were happening very slowly, and a lot of effort was also being put in. Although some success was being achieved, but it was still very difficult to get him out. John's feet were hitting the ceiling above, and it was impossible to twist his leg in that passage. So Ryan finally decides that he will break his leg. And in the meantime, an unimaginable thing happens here which no one could have even thought of. The whole system had failed. A bolt which was drilled above John in the wall comes out of the wall and it hits Ryan's head directly, due to which Ryan becomes unconscious and John, who had risen halfway up, goes back to sleep and goes to the initial position. And now there was no response from John. This movement was John's final fate. Now he could never come out. And when Ryan regains consciousness, blood was flowing from his head. He was completely confused as to what happened. Well, Ryan is taken out of there and sent to the hospital. In his place, his father, Dave, goes into the cave to take John out. It takes another hour to install the broken police system. Dave tries to tie John's body with a rope, but no matter how long Dave stays there is no response from John. This entire operation could not have happened without John's help. It was not possible for a 90-kilogram person to come out of the cave without his help. And when Dave was trying to tie John with a rope, he himself got stuck there for 15 minutes. And in the end, he also gets upset and tired. After losing, they come out of there. Now Brandon Coles takes his place as a new rescuer. And then a telecom system is installed there so that his family can talk to him. But what Brandon was able to see, Emily was not able to see. John was not responding at all, and it is not known whether he was able to hear or not. Till a few hours before, the sound of John's breathing was coming, but now that too had gone silent. The rescue team formed a group in one area and decided that John might be dead, and hence they would send medical professionals in the passage to confirm, and this is exactly what happened. The medical professionals confirmed that John was dead. On the night of the 25th of November at 11:56, the official confirmation was made that John Edward Jonas was officially dead. 120 rescuers tried for 27 back-to-back hours to take John out, but it was impossible because John was in an upside-down position. John was in an extreme inverted position for the last 27 hours of his life, whereas the doctor had predicted that he would only live for 10 hours in this condition. It is really commendable that the rescuers who went inside to reach John were truly heroes. They deliberately went to help in places which they themselves did not know how risky it was. One of the rescuers told the media that this was the toughest rescue of his 29 years of rescue career, and he lost in this rescue. The authorities were trying their best to take John's body out of the cave, but after discussion, it was decided that doing this would be very dangerous for the rescue team, and finally, it was decided that John's body would remain buried there forever, and the entrance would be sealed with concrete, and after a week, the entire Nutty Putty Cave was sealed forever.